Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP, and once again, this is the 1 hour chart. We wicked down to 57 cents today. And I've seen people all over Twitter saying, that's it, I'm selling my XRP, I'm getting out. Why would you ever sell now? The best way I could describe it is like this. Have you ever been to a party and the party sucks? So you're like, that's it, I'm going home, I'm leaving this party. Then all of a sudden, the next day, all your friends are telling you about all this great things that happened after you left, and soon you regret leaving the party. That's where we're at right now with XRP. It's been so boring for so long, but yet we stuck around waiting for the good stuff to happen. And that is what's going to come next. You don't want to leave too soon. XRP now accepted as payment method across hundreds of stores worldwide. This development allows BitPay to use users to spend XRP at hundreds of merchants worldwide while also enabling the swapping and storage of XRP on BitPay wallets. BitPay, one of the oldest crypto payment service providers, is among the latest to support XRP. The United States-based company recently took to X to remind users of its all-around support for XRP. You know what I like about this? It leads to mass adoption. Think about it. If you could show one of your normie friends, one of your friends that never invested into crypto, how you could actually buy things using crypto, all of a sudden, they can see the value in it. That's why I said it leads to mass adoption in the future. Just in, PayPal teams up with Ledger on fiat on-ramp for U.S. users. Honestly, I don't like the idea of this at all. I don't like PayPal at all. And you know, I was a huge fan of Ledger, but not anymore. I'm starting to lose more and more interest in Ledger every single day. XRP rockets with 127% asset surge amid SEC showdown. Institutional investors flock in as Ripple gears up for the final battle. And you know, institutional investors, once they start to really come on board to crypto, once they start to come on board and buy into XRP, that's how me and you are going to get rich in the future. Everybody always says the exchanges are not going to be able to cash you out if XRP was to hit very high numbers in the future. But there's always going to be buyers for XRP, no matter what the price is. If XRP hit $10,000, right? 3 years from now, you're still going to have people investing in XRP. Same way it goes for Bitcoin right now. I have friends that buy Bitcoin weekly. They buy pieces of it, hoping to get one whole Bitcoin. The same thing's going to happen to XRP in the future. XRP is the next Bitcoin. Take a listen to Brad Garlinghouse.
From the get-go, Ripple has worked with regulators, and we have worked with regulated institutions like banks, where there isn't regulatory uncertainty. And so we have found that part of the reason why XRP has performed well is because people realize, hey, wait a minute, you know, back to your question, is XRP the next Bitcoin? Back to your question, is XRP the next Bitcoin? If we work with the system to solve this problem, and we can solve that problem at scale, a problem measured in the trillions of dollars, then there's a lot of opportunity to create value in XRP.
You know why all these banks are willing to work with Ripple and utilize XRP? Because Ripple is not out there competing. They're fixing a banking problem. They're fixing a financial system that is absolutely broken at this point. And that's why the banks are so willing to work with Ripple. Swift, same thing. They know the Swift system sucks and they want an upgrade for it. Ripple provides that upgrade. Boom. 85% of Italian banks are exchanging interbank transfer data on Corda. R3 explains how they use XRP to settle money cross borders. Take a listen to this. And honestly, I think this brings XRP and XDC closer together.
Okay, hello and welcome to the demonstration of Corda Settler, the open source Corda app built to help Corda users settle transactions on any rail. Transactions usually refer to an exchange of one asset for another. One leg of the transaction creates an obligation to complete the other leg. Corda Settler allows users to complete that second leg on any system, whether that's a non-blockchain rail, a cryptocurrency system, or on Corda directly. If the second leg is not on Corda, it just needs to provide two integration points, one for users to initiate payments and another to confirm payment status. The following animation will show a network of participants using Corda Settler. Company A and Company B are the counterparties. They are using a notary service on Corda, and they both have access to nodes in other payment systems. For this demo, XRP is the chosen payments rail. This animation will be available as a click-through on r3.com. From a transaction on Corda, Company B has an obligation to pay Company A $100. As the beneficiary, Company A can choose the currency in which they'd like to be paid. In this case, Company A chooses XRP. To update the obligation, Company A will get the current exchange rate from an exchange rate oracle, and then update the obligation with the new currency and amount. Having made these changes, Company A obtains a signature from the notary service and distributes the obligation to Company B. Corda Settler also allows users to add additional terms, such as the desired payment address on the XRP network. Company A updates the obligation again and distributes it. Company B is now ready to settle this obligation, and so initiates a transaction from their XRP node. This obligation can be settled in one or many transactions. Company B gets a payment submission confirmation from the XRP network, updates the obligation with the transaction hash, and sends it to Company A and the settlement oracle. Now the settlement oracle knows which transaction reference to query for completion. The settlement oracle queries the XRP network for the status of transactions with the specified transaction ID. When Company B's payment has been confirmed, the settlement oracle marks the obligation settled, obtains a notary signature, and distributes the updated obligation to Company A and Company B. The obligation is now settled, and the counterparties have completed the second leg of their transaction. This has shown an important link between assets and applications on Corda and other settlement systems.
They make it look so simple, but they chose to use XRP in this scenario. But I know R3 also works with QNT and XDC as well. And the way I see R3 working in the future is maybe they choose XDC for digital trade payments, but they use XRP for bank-to-bank payments, what their use case actually is. But that's what seems to make sense to me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. CBDC is evil, the financial equivalent of the Death Star. So Congressman Warren Davidson is talking about CBDCs, and he doesn't like the idea of them at all, and he actually mentions Ripple in this statement. So, tokenized assets are not the problem, it's the people, entities, including the Federal Reserve, Ripple, Consensus, and influencers are actively working on CBDC projects. Davidson concluded by announcing that he was working on passing a regulation that would criminalize designing, building, testing, developing, or establishing a central bank digital currency. Honestly, I don't like the idea of a CBDC at all. I think they could enslave you through that system. In the wrong hands, a CBDC is absolutely horrible. In the right hands, the technology is absolutely incredible. But I think Warren Davidson is coming to the table too late. Because here in the United States, I think we already have a CBDC. It's called FedNow. It just hasn't morphed into that yet. I think at some point it absolutely will. And that's why I always said we need privacy laws put in place ahead of a full-blown CBDC. Ripple restates XRP's role as a bridge currency to fiat and ODL after regulatory clarity. So now we know that XRP as a bridge currency also works for fiat. Like it could fix the current financial system. So does a CBDC even need to be, built in order to fix the current system? The problem is we have so many politicians and so many banks rushing to the bottom of this financial system. Governments overspending. They want to level the playing field once and for all. They want to create a new financial system. But even if a CBDC never even came about, XRP can still be utilized to move fiat from one bank to another. And a lot of people forget that. And, you know, this was talked about years ago, but it kind of got swept under the rug with the idea of CBDCs being utilized all over the world. Why use XRP as a bridge? My exclusive interview with Exago in South Africa for the Genfinity IO Lighthouse Report. Take a listen to this. This talks about XRP as a bridge.
You have to actually look at it in a slightly different way. A lot of people talk about volatility and the price of XRP goes up and down. So how would that be a bridge? But it goes up and down in relation to fiat currencies. So for example, if you have the XRP price in relation to the US dollar and you have the XRP price in relation to the euro, what you have is three variables. You've got the US dollar going up and down, you've got the euro going up and down, and the XRP price going up and down. But they are both linked to XRP, meaning that XRP becomes the stable coin where the euro and the dollar is fluctuating. So it is that bridge to jump in between the currencies. So as you have multiple currencies around the world and all linked to this XRP ecosystem, you can have all the currencies in the world doing that while XRP stays in the middle, actually as the stable monetary value in between. And that is why it is seen as a bridge currency.
You see what I mean? How it could stay as a stable value, a monetary value. Remember a couple years back, the IMF and the BIS was talking about stable coins such as XRP and XLM being stable value in the future. But they also went on to talk about a monetary value for these cryptocurrencies. So think about it. They're talking about moving money back and forth. But now that we're talking about tokenization all of a sudden coming into crypto, it makes more sense because people will be transferring deeds. They're going to be transferring titles to luxury cars and other items of value as well. So XRP is not going to be pegged to a dollar. It's going to be a stable value, but it's going to be a high stable value in the future. And that's what I always am pictured for XRP. It doesn't need to be backed by gold, and it doesn't have to be backed by, you know, really anything. XRP is going to have its own value put upon it by the central banks. But then you also got to look at XRP in another way. Think about it. All of a sudden, you have Bank A and Bank B sending large amounts of cash back and forth. Well, if XRP is sitting under a dollar, that doesn't make sense. That's why David Schwartz even said a higher priced XRP makes more sense in the future. And that's where everybody got the idea of XRP being priced at $10,000. Boom. Arab Monetary Fund mentions XRP as an example to settle money from A to B. And we see it right here. It shows it as an example. So this is using RippleNet. But XRP, we know, will always be the core for Ripple. And they even mention it down here. One of the first cryptocurrency designed primarily for payments was Ripple's XRP. Everybody in the world knows what XRP is. I'm talking about the banks and governments. That's how you know this cryptocurrency is going to be utilized all around the world in the very near future. But yet people already are ready to leave the party because we dropped literally 4 or 5 cents. I'm not here for those 4 or 5 cent moves. I'm here for when XRP is jumping by dollars in the future. August 2023, Ripple's Pega Sultani. We have been aligned with ISO 222 from day one, and we were a first mover. Now, we know XRP is tied to ISO, and I even said we got no value from that yet. Well, now we actually got a date. Now, this is coming from Dennis Kruger, Senior Key Account Manager at Swift. Adoption of ISO 222 for payments is well underway across the financial industry to help ensure a smooth transition. The Payments Market Practice Group has recently published guidelines advising financial institutions to use certain rich data elements for cross-border payments only as of November 2023. It's important to carefully plan your approach to adoption, taking on board all the latest guidance and developments, and we're here to help. November 2023 is when we're going to start to see value come to XRP from ISO. And then this is coming from the Federal Reserve. The Fed could delegate settlement to a third party like Ripple. Take a listen to this.
That is, people say, how can you trust, the Fed to do the bookkeeping? Like I said, my response is, well, you don't expect the Fed to kind of steal your money. I mean, if the Fed can print all the money at once, it's not going to mess around with your bookkeeping. So, we have this big spreadsheet, the blockchain if you want, but it's just managed by the Fed, and it's very cheap, much cheaper than Bitcoin, if you're willing to delegate the responsibility to a third party. But then the downsides to all of that, of course, is you'd actually suppose you didn't want the Fed to be responsible for processing the payments. I mean, suppose, the Fed will likely impose some KYC restrictions on some purchases. They might not process some purchases that you might want to undertake. And so it was at that point that I said, well, we could, if we wanted to, extend the concept one step further. I'm not saying that this is ever going to happen, but just conceptually, you could imagine not FedWire for all, but kind of like a Fed coin, where what the Fed would do is actually just issue these, Bitcoin-like objects, but and they would enforce a par exchange rate with the U.S. dollar. That would eliminate the exchange rate volatility. But they could delegate the clearing of these payments to some third party, some sort of Ripple-like protocol, or possibly even Bitcoin. I mean, we could delegate the responsibility of processing these electronic, Fedcoin payments to the miners. And
he's talking about using an alternative for settlement. Instead of the Fed settling, they would use a third party like Ripple to do that for them in the future. And that would make sense, because this way you have an accounting process happening on the blockchain, keeping everything legit, no fraud happening. And at the same time, the Fed doesn't have to worry about settlement happening. And did you take notice he also talked about stable value as well? That's why I said monetary value for XRP makes sense. Then there's this. Just in, ID verification is coming to X. Prepare a government-issued ID. Check if your device's camera is uncovered and working. Be prepared to take a selfie and photos of your ID. Now, I don't like the idea of this, because this is more of that digital ID approach. And if X is going to do this, most likely I will be leaving X, or what was previously known as Twitter. Because, they hired that CEO from the World Economic Forum, that lady that was tied to the World Economic Forum. And I didn't like the idea of that right out of the gate. And now we get hit with this. Yeah, I'm about done with X. But that's my opinion on that. But, we are at a time where you definitely want to stay at the party, because it's about to get very interesting for XRP holders. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.